You're watching Pyro Media Network.
Thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. We hope your experience is fruitful. Please feel free to visit our website to find out how you can join our growing family. While we are loading your experience, please do us a quick favor and hit that like button from whichever platform you're watching or listening on. Also, share so others may enjoy as well. And we hope you would consider hitting that subscribe or follow button so you can check out more of our amazing content. All right, let's start the show.
Christian ain't good with forgiving, ain't turning my cheek, now I'm raising that pistol. Lord, forgive me. With all my breath, with all my strength, with all my pain, I'm fighting this war. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. No turning back, 'cause I'm free.
Hey, spread the word to my people. Yeah, spirit fell on me, told me fight against the evil, not turn. Not turn, yeah. Fuck the sticks now, nigga, yeah, burners. Hold up, hey, spread the word to my people. Yeah, spirit fell on me, told me fight against the evil, not turn. Not turn. We in the sticks, now we all got burners. Hold up. I'm hearing voices in my head say I need to be.
Hey, what's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? Welcome to Dirty Laundry, the podcast with your boy KO. Here we pull no punches and dive head first into the challenging conversations that the Black community needs to have, from economics to inner city violence to abortion, religious fanaticism, white folks, of course, and everything in between. We tackle the tough conversations that we need to have in the Black community with honesty, courage, and a vision for growth. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. Some of these conversations will get messy, but hey, ain't that why we do laundry? You know, we wash, we rinse, and we rebuild, because it's our duty to reclaim the narratives and control the narratives that are associated with us. So with that, y'all, welcome to Dirty Laundry. Let's start the pre-wash with Kwame Speaks.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Man, what's up? It's crazy in the country. It's crazy in the country. It's crazy in the country for sure.
It is, my brother. We got a lot to talk about today. I got a couple of things for you to chat about. First up, we're going to get into that new Netflix documentary that's coming up with the new Michael Jackson documentary. Then we're going to also talk about Ashley St. Clair. We're going to talk, that's who is Elon Musk's baby mama. And also the Senate GOP revolt that happened on today, which was some breaking news. But first up, the new Michael Jackson documentary that Netflix is going to be premiering on June 3rd. Now, I personally brought this up because I had a problem with it, my brother. Not that I know what the hell is going to happen. Because it's all of this hype and all of this greatness that happened with the Michael movie, and now all of a sudden you want to bring out all of the drama and all of the crap that happened when he was already acquitted from all of that. Just FYI. But
Isn't that what they do?
It's always what they do. It's like, you can't give us a break. You can't let us have just one thing. One thing.
No.
You know? What's up, Keith? How you doing? What's going on, Cyrus? Thank you guys for joining Dirty Laundry. All right, next up, I just wanted to bring that up there. That's going to be on there for those who want to indulge and have some, tea and watch a little bit of that potential BS. But anyway, Ashley
Leave
St.
my
Clair,
people alone, man.
right? Leave us alone.
Leave us alone.
And now Ashley St. Clair is the baby mama of Elon Musk.
So then to have
and she's a baby mama of Elon Musk. And the reason why she's in the headlines right now is because she is hinting towards something that's very interesting that happened with the last elections. Take a look.
So then to have arguably the most powerful man in the world who is sending me things about, using his space technology in the election. I should also say that I have all of this backed up with many people with explicit instructions should anything happen to me, okay? But this was something that I was internally wrestling with while publicly not really showing that I was having any of these internal ethical conflicts with myself regarding this information. And then on election night itself, Elon, left Mar-a-Lago early. I was at Mar-a-Lago, and he told me over text. He's like, "Yeah, I knew hours ago that Trump won. My team has the best real-time data anywhere." First of all, how the f do you have real-time data on elections? How do you have real-time data? I could not understand that. I don't know that I ever will. I saw some guys, like I saw some, and I'm fighting really hard to keep my voice because I saw that impacts everyone. And if I was self-interested, I have been offered the self-interested deal to shut up and not talk about anything. But what I can tell you is I've not been offered certain deals just because I know that he's weird. Okay.
I've had enough. I can't take her anymore. I can't take it.
I can't either. But here's my thing. My brother. The reason why I brought this up is because, first of all, she's alluding, and I want to say, just for the safety of Pyro Media, that this is all alleging. And she hasn't said anything outlandish or out front, but she's alluding to the fact that he tampered with the last election. Yes, she's hinting and alluding to the fact that he tampered with the last election. Which, okay, fine, no big surprise there. We kind of like had an inkling that happened, because how did he win all 7 swing states? It's just weird. But anyway, I digress. That's not the point. We can all it's here or there. He's the president now.
If she says too much, she's dead as fried chicken anyway. So,
but here's my thing. But here's my thing. Even if, like, why didn't you say something in the beginning? That's what I'm just trying to say. And first of all, I'm already questioning your judgment anyway, because you let that inside of you. I'm just saying. Anyway, let's move on.
Moving right along. I can't. Y'all gotta watch this. Hey, anybody who's listening, you gotta watch something called Reconstructing Karen. I'm over them.
Listen, that's a whole word. Now, speaking of Karens, the Senate GOP is revolting today. That we had a lot of different members of the Senate, of the Republican Senate, have some issues. So the article that CNN was reporting breaking today is that the Trump administration's push for a $1.8 billion anti-weaponization fund derailed Senate Republicans' plans to pass the president's priority immigration enforcement package. Senators left Washington for their Memorial Day recess, which I think is BS that they're getting yet another weekend off. Thursday or today, with Republicans saying that they were blindsided by the Justice Department's announcement of the fund and at odds over how to rein it in. The issue had become so toxic for the Senate GOP that there were doubts that they could muster 50 votes needed to pass the broader bill that would provide tens of billions of dollars to U.S. immigration and customs enforcement and border patrol. Trump had demanded the package land on his desk by June 1st, but GOP lawmakers will now almost certainly miss that deadline.
I just find it interesting that they can find money for everything but reparations.
Everything but reparations, my brother. I was just talking about this yesterday on my show, and I just don't understand. You couldn't find money for that. You said that healthcare was unaffordable. You said that that raising funds for teachers' wages across the nation was unaffordable. You said that children's lunches were unaffordable. It was too much. And you said that Black people's reparations were unaffordable. But you found more than enough money to find money to pay those that had a complete insurrection, the traitors that tried to perform a coup over the nation after you already pardoned them for an insurrection. Wild.
Are you not entertained, America? Are you not
brother.
entertained, Black people? Let's move to the next topic, man. Was that my last topic?
That's going to be it, my brother. That's going to be it for me.
Oh, my God. Thank you so much, man. Thank
No
you so
problem,
much,
man.
man. See you next week. I appreciate you. Let's jump
All
into
right,
this
have a good
spin
one.
cycle, y'all. All right. I want y'all to check this video out. Check this video out, and then we're gonna start jumping in there. Just check this video out right quick.
1787. Delegates at the Constitutional Convention are divided on how slaves will be counted for the purpose of representation in the United States Congress. Northern states don't want slaves to be counted at all, while southern states want them to be counted as a whole person. An agreement is reached, which states that each slave will be counted as 3/5 of a person when determining representation in the House of Representatives and for taxation purposes. As a result of the 3/5 compromise, southern states gain political power while excluding the slave population from the political process. The compromise remains part of the US Constitution until the passage of the 13th Amendment, which abolishes slavery. The 3/5 compromise has long been a stain on the merits of the US Constitution while reminding Americans of its complicated and painful history with slavery.
Now, I'm just going to ask everybody, does voting really help Black people in a white system? Are we just spinning our wheels? I mean, come on. I know you just heard what the video said. I mean, you would consider 3/5 of a human being for voting purposes. And I find it quite ironic that they're gerrymandering a state and taking away the Black representation. So why are Black people so surprised about the SAVE Act? Politicians have been gerrymandering, manipulating districts, and playing political chess for as long as I can remember. None of this is new. The game has always been about power, control, and protecting interest. So why are we so shocked? Why do we get in an uproar? Why are we not being intentional? I think it's time for us to become more intentional about pooling our resources and practicing group economics. Politics without infrastructure is just participation. Even if we engage in the political process, we still need to build our own institutions, businesses, schools, and economic systems that strengthen our communities, regardless of who is in office. I mean, come on, everybody. Are we really shocked that they gerrymandered Louisiana and stripped away Black representation? Are we really shocked about that? Let's be real for a second. Just 1 second. The Voting Rights Act was passed in 1965. That's not ancient history. That's less than a lifetime ago for a lot of people still living today. So why do we keep acting surprised when systems in this country continue to move in ways they were originally designed to move? I mean, come on, y'all. Y'all know the system was set up to deprive us of rights. Like, I believe in the process of voting, but I'm saying when you vote, you're supposed to be intentional and you're supposed to get something for your vote. At some point, we've got to stop being so emotionally attached to the idea of America that we become unrealistic about the reality of America. History has always shown us that the voting rights, representation, and political power for Black people have always been challenged, negotiated, and in many cases intentionally diluted. So when districts get redrawn and Black voices get minimized, this isn't some new phenomenon. It's a part of a larger historical pattern. I'm not saying people shouldn't be outraged. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be outraged. We absolutely should be paying attention. Understand what I'm saying? We should be paying attention. But what I'm saying is we can't afford to be naive. We can't keep moving through this country as if progress automatically means protection. Okay? We can't do that. Rights that have been fought for also can be weakened, undermined, and strategically worked around, as we can see. That's why awareness, organization, and intentional political strategy matter now more than ever. Let's go to the commercial, man.
Hey, it's Pastor Kim from It's Just Kim Live Show, and you're watching Pyro Media Network.
The news is divided. Ground News puts it back together, with coverage from thousands of outlets around the world in one place. So you can spot sensational reporting, no matter what side of the political spectrum you're on. Beside every headline, you'll see who owns the source, how reliable it is, and if they have a political bias. Multiple perspectives side by side, giving you a well-rounded view of today's biggest stories. Visit ground.news to learn more.
Hey, it's Dr. Nicole D. Vick from Dr. Victorious, and you're watching Pyro Media Network.
Black mama still crying on TV. These young brothers still dying on TV. Crackers on the camera still lying on TV. 3% rappers might put it on the CD. And our leaders, most of them speechless. How you gonna preach when you ain't trying to?
For a number of reasons. First of all, because we still tend to think that partisanship is important to Black folk. But whites do not place as much importance on partisanship, political partisanship, as we do. See, when Black folk did not belong to any party, and they were independent, they were enslaved. From 1618 up until 1866, blacks were slaves. They didn't belong to any party, and they got slavery out of it. From 1866 to 1936, about 96% of all the blacks in the United States belonged to the Republican Party. What they got was Jim Crowism out of it. From 1936 up to 1996, almost 97% of all the blacks in the United States belong to the Democratic Party. What they've gotten is benign neglect. So partisanship is not the issue. The issue is that Black folk have never had an effective strategy for dealing with white racism in this country. That's the issue. And we have never sat down and say, how do we go about dealing with structural racism?
That's one of my favorite educators, one of my favorite brothers, like Dr. Claude Anderson, man. Like, so why do Black Americans keep getting caught in this cycle? Why do we keep getting caught in this cycle, y'all? You know, we've been fighting for rights for I don't know how long. And the last time I checked, and this is just my personal stance on it, and I could be wrong. Stop me when I stop telling the truth. Rights are not something that you ask for. There's something that you kill for. There's something that you fight for, right? You don't beg. You don't protest. You don't go to the people that actually enslaved you and ask them for rights. I mean, they would have never put you in slavery in the first place, or not heard your voice if they really wanted to hear it. So I'm saying, I think that we as a people, we get obsessed and we get caught up in this American dream, which really for us has been an American nightmare. It hasn't been sweet. Life for us has not been a crystal stair. I mean, come on, let's be honest, right? Let's truly be honest about this. Capitalism is colorless, but in capitalism, everybody can't do well. And unfortunately for us, we've been pitted as less than, as the lower class, as the bottom of the barrel. I mean, chattel slavery was the equivalent of you being a cow and being traded on a stock exchange as a commodity. We actually were commodities. So I'd like to present a couple of questions tonight. Tonight, it's going to be a couple of questions asked. Just ride with me on this one, because these are very important questions that I think that we as African Americans need to ask ourselves, right? So here's the first question. If the Voting Rights Act was supposed to protect Black voting power, why are we still fighting voter suppression tactics almost 60 years later? That's a question. I think that's something that we need to really ask ourselves in terms of how we should move, right? So some people will give you pushback. They'll be like, well, you don't vote. You don't believe in voting. I do believe in voting, but I believe in voting for something. If I've voted and I've done all of my legwork, I've done everything that I was supposed to do to participate in this political process, am I not supposed to get something for my vote? When I vote, am I not supposed to get something? It's just a question. I think that we all need to take a step back and think about how we're going to move in this new system that we're in. Just think about it. Pause for a second and just think about it. Things that make you go, The second question is this. Why are Black communities still shocked by voter suppression when America historically has consistently shown that access to power is often met with resistance? It's always been met with resistance. I mean, when you go back and look at when we got freed, or when Black slaves got freed, what did they get freed for? I guarantee you it was not because everybody had a moral dilemma and said, hey, we've been treating niggas bad. That's not why they repealed slavery. Come on now, let's think about this for a second. My mom was born in 1954. Desegregation was in the 50s. So in my mother's lifetime, my mother was living in your parents' lifetime. There was a time in this country when they were not allowed to be in establishments and participate in certain things that everybody else that was American were able to participate in, or they weren't included, so to speak. Everything was segregated. I mean, let's be honest about this for a second. Just take time to really let this sizzle in your spirit for a second. So while everybody is popping fireworks on the 4th of July, this is always something that I look at and them say the Declaration of Independence. We the people declare our independence from the king for the unfair taxation, but yet we in trillions of dollars of debt. It's unfair taxation. It's actually taxation without no representation. So what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we being intentional about? We being intentional about telling our oppressors or the system that has oppressed us that, hey, we've been oppressed. You don't think that they know it? The system is operating perfectly. Something to think about. My third question is this. Are black voters truly being politically empowered, or are we simply being mobilized every election cycle every election cycle, right? Without receiving long-term economic and community investment in return? Every time it's time to vote for a president, everybody's always doing identity politics. I don't like this person. I don't like this person. I think that this person is this. Are you really shocked that white men do what white men do? I mean, come on now. Think about it for a second. Everybody like, oh, Donald Trump is doing this. I mean, what is he doing that's abnormal? Especially for us as African Americans, right? You know, everybody gets in an uproar over mass deportation, but like, I mean, think about it. Who really jumps in on our struggle? Who really gets in there and says, hey, you know what? Y'all been doing niggas wrong for this amount of time, and until they get rights, we not voting for y'all. We gonna stand up and we gonna help y'all get reparations. We gonna help black people get what they deserve. I'm just saying, think about it for a second. Just think about it for a second. Our whole entire movements get hijacked. Just think about it for a second. Anything that's involving, like when people talk about like Africans, when they get to come over to this country and participate in economic inclusion, they are riding your back, black people. What do we call those? What do we call those? We call those people, black people who are here. We've been here for a minute. We fought for people to be able to come over and participate in this. Civil rights, that's been our movement. So when are we going to start recognizing that we need to be intentional about choosing one another, be intentional about building infrastructure for our people? So most people will be like, this is racial rhetoric. This is not racial rhetoric. This is called culturally conscious. Right? How do you deprive people and tell them, hey, you complaining. You talking about the people that had a song called We Shall Overcome someday? Y'all forgot? We shall overcome. Nigga, that was in the 60s. We shall overcome. I was born 10 years after that. And my people were saying, we shall overcome one day. Well, what day is that? I know, I hear it all the time. People be like, oh, okay. So what we gonna do? We built Black Wall Street. We did this, we did that, we did this. You know, see where the country's going? I mean, this man just found money for the insurrectionists. So they about to get some money before we get it. They about to get some funding before we actually get reparations. Like 40 acres and a mule, that you remember that shit? I mean, how about the land grab? Just think about it for a second. Just let me cook a little bit. Let's think about it for a second. Let it sizzle in your spirit. You've been voting for the better part of almost 100 years. And then they just, in the blink of an eye, change that shit. You don't see what's going on in Louisiana? Act like you don't see it. I know you don't see it. You still want to be hands across America? Where is cultural exclusivity within the confines of the American society for black people? Show me where that's at. Black people own less than 1% of the country's overall wealth. You know what we do? We entertain. We sing and dance. But we never come back and build a school for free. We got a lot of rich people. So what's really going on? What are we really voting for? Okay, fourth question. What tangible changes can Black Americans point to that directly improve because of our voting power? And are those changes enough compared to the loyalty we give to political parties? Democrat, Republican, Democrat, Republican. A black person will fight you more about being a Democrat or Republican instead of the real issues. Boss, is we sick? We's lost our house, boss. I'm just saying, when are we going to be intentional about preferring one another, building stuff with one another? Like, here's the thing. You don't own anything. You don't have enough stake in it. You don't have enough what they consider skin in the game to really negotiate with a system that has disenfranchised you for a long time. What I'm saying is you don't own enough, a big enough piece of the pie. Yeah, you could be an individual. You can work. You can go to school. I'm only worried about my kids. I'm only worried about my kids. But we watch them do white flight all the time and leave everybody in one specific category in one area. And then we say, hey, the niggas are criminals. Just think about what I'm saying to you for a second. Just understand where I'm coming from. We have fights over people's titles, like what they call each other. Like, you know, I won't say her name, but like these are our talking points. While shit gets taken from us right before our very eyes. Just think about what I'm saying. Are we at war? Have we always been at war? Or no? No. Everything's fine now. What are you talking about? You can go to work, but in a minute, I thought we didn't. That's right. We don't have any jobs. We're in artificial intelligence. So you know what's going to happen. They're going to criminalize the image of black people. They're already making it to where white people can benefit if you DEI. Oh, man, we don't even want to talk about what just happened with the DEI when the lady got on TV and said, if any white man feels like he's been discriminated against, you can call this number. I'm just saying. Are you not entertained? Are we going to be intentional about pooling our resources? Are we going to be intentional about sticking together? Because in a minute, we're going to need each other. Sooner than later. Sooner than later. Fifth question. If voting is one of the most powerful tools we have, why do so many disenfranchised black communities still struggle with underfunded schools, economic instability, over-policing, and limited political leverage? Just think about it for a second. Let's just build with each other. This is why we call it dirty laundry, because these are the topics that we need to have with each other. Let's just think about it for a second. You got one person saying, I'm a Republican, I'm a conservative. Then you got one person saying, I'm a liberal, I believe in this and I believe in that. It's everyone love. It's all about love. But black people keep losing. In this super huge love game, we the only ones getting fucked with no Vaseline. I mean, shit. Listen, when are we going to take down the veil from over our eyes? Martin Luther King himself said he felt like he integrated us into a burning building. You think he was telling the truth? He was very nonviolent. No confrontation. Wasn't a confrontational man at all. So what happened? Fred Hampton was killed in his 20s for unifying people. Think about it. J. Edgar Hoover said that he was a threat to the American society. He was what do they call it? Just a threat. America's nightmare. What was he a threat to, though? I've heard things talked about with Martin Luther King when he was going to do the poor man's march. That's ironically when he got killed. So what's up? Tell me what's going on. When you want Asian food, you go to an Asian restaurant. We live in St. Louis. I live in St. Louis. When you want Italian food, you go to the Hill. They got Italian flags everywhere. People are always sticking with their own. See, the thing is that what we need to recognize is this. Let me cook with y'all for a second. Let me just cook, because normally I have guests, we bounce off each other, but let me cook with you for a second here. If anybody's a gardener or somebody who plants, right, or deals with plants, doesn't your plants have to have the right environment to flourish? I mean, if you give it too much water, then you can drown it. If you give it too much sunlight, you can burn it. There's conditions that we have to be in order to flourish. And we're not talking about hyper individualism. Of course you can go get a job. Me fi me. There was a song by Breed and Tupac. I gotta get mine, you gotta get yours. But race is a team sport. The only thing you have to do, if you really want to understand what I'm talking about, is go ask a white person, an Asian person, or any other person from different nationalities, would they rather trade places in this country with being black? Then you'll see that their hands across America shit falls on its face. I'm so tired of our people not understanding that. You should practice nepotism. You should really be practicing nepotism. And in these times, you should be more intentional about being specific about who you're going to give your money to, who you're going to share your resources with, who you're going to be around. Just understand what I'm saying. Just understand what I'm asserting to you. Just understand what's going on in our country. This man found some money for the insurrectionist. And when I say this man, he's just a representative of the bigger picture. Eurocentricized male hegemony has always been what we're under. Roman conquest, colonization. Think about it. Let that sizzle in your spirit for a minute. Just think about what I'm asserting to you, my audience, and what I'm saying to you about these times that we in. Check this out. Everybody want to be a nigga, but don't nobody want to be a nigga. And right now, y'all get to see that, hey, you're going to get the same treatment we get, especially if you're us, right? Black people, we need to come together. We need to reestablish a code amongst ourselves. We need to prefer one another. I remember when I was growing up, and I'm gonna tell y'all, I'm not gonna tell you my age, but I'm gonna say this, and you'll know what I'm talking about. I remember that there was a time when we actually had communities where we could leave our doors open all night. I remember when hip hop was actually ours. There was no crime. There was no children out here killing each other like this. We have been infected. There is a social contagion that's going on. There is something else afoot. And I think it's time for us to really recognize what it is. Once you got an opportunity to integrate into something, you went totally backwards. You thought you was sitting at the table, but somebody only threw crumbs on the floor. So my question is does voting really help Black people in a white system? Or are we just spinning our wheels? Let's go to commercial.
Hey, how y'all doing? Real quick, this is Daryl Walter, host of the Daryl Walter Show. I know. And you are watching Pyro Media Network.
This is Tammy from Tammy's Take, and you're watching Pyro Media Network.
Black mama still crying on TV. These young brothers still dying on TV. Crackers on the camera still lying on TV. 3% rappers might put it on the CD. And our leaders, most of them speechless. How you gon' preach when you ain't trying to reach it?
Are we back? Okay. All right. So what did you write down the questions? I mean, because everybody can say he don't know what he's talking about. This dude crazy. He just saying some crazy shit. But I'm saying the questions are the questions. If the Voting Rights Act was supposed to protect black voting power, why are we still fighting voter suppression tactics almost 60 years later? Why are black communities still shocked by the suppression when American history has consistently shown us that access to power is often met with resistance? Are black voters truly being politically empowered? Or are we simply being mobilized every election cycle without receiving long-term economic and community investment in return? What tangible changes can Black Americans point to directly that was improved because of our voting power? And are those changes enough compared to the loyalty we give to political parties? What tangible changes can Black Americans point to that directly improved because of our voting power? And are those changes enough compared to the loyalty we've given political parties? I'm telling you these, I'm reciting these again so you can write them down and really assess. Just really take the opportunity to sit down, and no matter what your political view is, like Republican, Democrat, Independent, whatever you're thinking, I'm saying in terms of voting, these are the questions that I want you to write down. If voting is one of the most powerful tools we have, why do so many disenfranchised Black communities still struggle with underfunded schools? Okay. Economic instability. Okay. Over policing. All right. And limited political leverage. Because if you're telling me I mean, like when I seen what happened in Memphis, I was like, shit, it's about to go down. He called that man boy so hard, I know he had $100,000 worth of spit on his face. So with that, I'm saying thank you all for being a part of tonight's discussion. Now it's time to check the facts.
Hi, I'm Uhuru Williams. I'm a professor of history, and here's what you need to know to sound smart about the Voting Rights Act of 1965. The Voting Rights Act of 1965 was necessitated by the fact that the vast majority of African Americans in the South could not vote. Despite the passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, many civil rights activists believe that the Voting Rights Act of 1965 was still necessary due to the denial of the right to vote of Blacks in many Southern communities. Organizations like the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee and the Congress of Racial Equality have been active in registering African Americans to vote in the South with little success prior to the passage of the Voting Rights Act of 1965. One of the reasons the Voting Rights Act of 1965 was so important is it helped to eliminate some of the mechanisms that have been used to suppress the right to vote for African Americans. This included the literacy test, the grandfather clause, and with the passage of the 24th Amendment, the dreaded poll tax. The Voting Rights Act of 1965 actually authorizes the United States government to oversee elections in Southern states where there's been a history or record of voter suppression. The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King considered the Voting Rights Act of 1965 to be an essential piece of legislation to guarantee civil rights for African Americans. Young people in large numbers.
Okay, did you? For those of you listening, see, a professor, that's a professor. I would consider him credulous, and I would say check to see if what he said was true. So let's check the facts. Check this out. The 3/5 clause of 1787 counted enslaved Black people as 3/5 of a person for congressional representation and taxation. Enslaved people could not vote or exercise constitutional rights. Does it sound familiar? Does it sound like something that's what's going on? Okay. Second fact, Southern states wanted enslaved populations counted to increase their political power in Congress and the Electoral College. Think about that for a second. We checking the facts. Cross-reference it. Go check it out. Go look and see. The clause increased representation for slaveholding states, while Black people themselves remained politically powerless. Black Americans currently control a disproportionately small percentage of U.S. wealth relative to population size, which fuels ongoing debates about economics versus politics in achieving collective advancement. It's just something to think about. Listen, have all of the views that you have your opinion of me. Who cares? But check the information, Black people. We got to get out of trying to smear the person and not hear the information. That's why we do identity politics so much. We don't like him. He's a racist. Well, are you not entertained? Because white men are going to always do what white men do. The white establishment. Let me not say that, because I don't consider all white men oppressive. But here's the thing. If you are in a society that was set up for you to benefit, and you've benefited from it, then by default, you're complicit unless you're working to tear it down. Let's go to the next video. Well, let's rinse it out.
Always watch what they do, not what they say. The Supreme Court just gutted the Voting Rights Act, a civil rights law that has been on the books for 60 plus years. It is a law that Dr. King, John Lewis, Fannie Lou Hamer, Viola Luiso, and so many others marched and spilled blood for. It is a colossal step backwards for the vibrant multiracial democracy that so many fought so hard to build in our country. If you want to understand why the Supreme Court just did this, you have to look at what politicians are doing. Because ultimately, this is an effort by politicians to decide who their voters are, as opposed to having the voters choose who their politicians are. So let me break it down. During Jim Crow segregation, politicians would draw maps to shut out Black voters, to diminish the power of their vote and their voice. And one way was to take a large group of Black voters and split them into multiple districts so that they were always a minority and their votes never really mattered. That's called cracking. Another way was to take a large group of Black voters, large enough to be majorities in 2 districts, and put them all into 1 district. That's called packing. And through tactics like packing and cracking, creatively drawing the lines, craven politicians who sought to maintain Jim Crow were able to successfully strip Black voters of their political power even when they show up. They were able to silence and diminish their voices in our democracy. The Voting Rights Act put a stop to this. Fast forward to today, before the Supreme Court decision, politicians in many southern states, including my own state of Georgia, were literally lining up plans to deprive Black citizens of representation by this very same mechanism. And now they're saying the quiet part out loud, that they plan to take cohesive Black communities and minimize their influence. That's why we need the Voting Rights Act, because these abuses are happening in real time. Without it, these politicians will move to deprive Black voters of their voice. They will move to do the very thing that the Voting Rights Act was meant to prevent. This was all telegraphed beforehand. None of this was in secret. And yet Trump's Supreme Court chose to ignore that. They chose to roll back the clock because there is an extreme movement in this country that is willing to do anything to stay in power. And if that means dragging us back to the days of Jim Crow, so be it.
What's going on, y'all? It's Kwame Speaks from Kwame Speaks Live, and you're watching Pyro Media Network.
Bring it up, up. Bring it back, bring it back, bring it back. Bring it back, bring it up, up. Bring it back, bring it back, bring it back. Bring it back, bring it up, up.
Black mama still crying on TV. These young brothers still dying on TV. Crackers on the camera still lying on TV. 3% rappers might put it on the CD. And our leaders, most of them speechless. How you gon' preach when you ain't trying to reach it?
All right, y'all. Let's go on here and rinse it out. Let's rinse it out. In the words of Dr. Claude Anderson, Black people own less than 1% of the country's overall wealth. So the real question becomes, what exactly are we voting for? If we're going to vote, shouldn't we be intentional about what we receive in exchange for our vote? Shouldn't there be a political agenda tied directly to economic empowerment, protection, and tangible outcomes for our communities? Or are we simply participating in the process because somebody allowed us to participate in it? And another question nobody wants to ask honestly, did our ancestors die strictly for the right to vote, or did they die for the freedom to choose, including the choice to vote or not to vote, without fear, intimidation, or oppression? That's the conversation people keep dancing around. So with that, take a moment to reflect and take your life off spin cycle. Now we're going to go to the book of the week. As we put this thing on the clothesline, our book of the week is Black Labor, White Wealth by Dr. Claude Anderson. I am a huge fan of Dr. Claude Anderson because he approaches our issues with realistic structure. This book has been a wonderful read for me, and I would implore you to all go out and go grab it. All right? So with that, y'all, good night. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on all my platforms. I'm at King Studios on Instagram, Kevin R. Lewis on Facebook, and on TikTok, you can find me at My Interview with Life. Thanks a lot, y'all. Don't forget to take your life off spin cycle. Have a good night.
What up, everybody? This your boy KO. If you want to follow my content and see more of the interviews, you can follow me at PYROMAKING Studios on Instagram or the same thing on YouTube. Hey, you never know where I'm going to pull up next. Get at your boy. Nice to meet you.
Thank you for watching Pyro Media Network. For more information, please visit pyromedianetwork.com.